morning, I'm Cheyenne Bays with New Bedford Cable Network. We're out at Pope's Island on a rather gray morning here, getting ready for the start of the New England Collegiate Rowing League. We have 6 teams out here today getting ready to take their boats on the water. We're starting with a women's novice 4 race, which has some fierce competition with the upset last race. We definitely have Roger Williams looking to come back and take back a one race that they just lost by a little bit due to a small incident on the water. We have 6 other great races coming today, and we'll follow them for the next hour or so, all through this day, and hope we don't hit any rain. So thank you and stay with us. These buoys right here denote the lanes 1 through 6, which the boats will be passing through. There are no lanes in between each of these buoys, so it is the coxswain, the person that steers the boat, their job to direct their crews in the straightest line possible, 2,000 meters from start to finish. At the start, what we're looking for is for each of the boats to pick up speed and hit their stride in the first 500 meters. After the first 20 to 30 strokes, we'll really be able to see some of the boats break away into first, second, third positions. And then as we come up to the 1,000 meter, we'll expect to see another move. That's what we call a tactical race plan move, where one boat will do a power, they can shorten their stroke, they can really make sure that they're focusing on one particular part of the stroke to make sure that they are getting maximum speed as they hit the middle of the race. In the last 250 meters of the race, we will see the sprint, and that's really where everyone does what we call emptying the tanks, where they go for broke and sprint in, keeping great technique. These are our lovely starting officials who align all of the boats and get our bow balls nice and even. This is the Women's Varsity 4 event. This is a sweep rowing event, and the difference between sweeping and sculling is you'll see each of these rowers has 1 oar instead of 2. Right now we are watching each of the boats get aligned. There are 6 lanes. Lane 6 is closest to us. The coxswains will get nice and even, have their bows. Their bows are what point down the course, fixed on a point, and keep a straight line.
Have alignment. All 3 hands are down. Attention. Row.
We have lanes 5 and 4 getting off to a very nice start. Really clean execution on lane 5 right close to us, this Brandeis boat. There we go, taking off nice and clean. The Brandeis B boat in 3rd, struggling just a little bit with the bodies tossing around. You look over to Endicott, they are nice and smooth, executing well. Great course. From this angle we can see though the coxswains are converging on that center line a bit. We have lane 1 just taking a sharp left turn, and now their point is a little outside the lane 1 buoy. They'll have to correct that.
During the first 100 meters, if anything happens, this race will stop, whistles will go up, and they'll turn around and restart. But in the first 2 minutes, that's when most of the occurrences happen, the mishaps.
All right, you can see where lane 1 has really shifted over to the center of the course. That'll add some time, but they are rowing really well here. Coming up to the first 250-meter mark, we have Brandeis falling back a little bit on the lead. We have Endicott, who started out in second, really moving into first here with some strong strokes. You can see as the blades go into the water, every one of those rowers is really heaving and holding their body weight up and against the oar. They're almost standing up in the boat. They are going to have to shift to the right a bit to stay in that buoy, and Brandeis A is going to have to move over and give them that room. All right, Brandeis B is bringing up the rear here. You can see how that stroke seat is keeping a nice steady rhythm. But we can also see how the oars aren't all going in at the same time, and they aren't nice and crisp into the water. What you're really looking for in a solid race is crisp, clean rowing, one catch, and the blades coming out together in what we call the finish. Right there, there's the finish as the blades exit the water. It's good. And we have Endicott really speeding away here, coming into the 500 meters ahead. Full boat length of open water over Brandeis B. And we have, Brandeis A, and we have Brandeis B taking up the rear. This is where we really get into the meat of the race, if you will. You've got your adrenaline out in the first 500 meters. We have Endicott crossing the 500 meter mark first, followed by Brandeis A. There we go. They're rowing nice and smooth, but fatigue starts to set in right here. There's another 1,500 meters to go. Here we go. Endicott A really taking out their lead, about 4 boat lengths open water, but they don't want to get complacent in this, because anyone else can take a move, find that extra well of energy and really push it out and challenge them. This is right here where every rower needs to know their own race plan and race for themselves. They're doing great though up there, Endicott. So they've got nice long strokes, good control on the blades. It's going right in at the catch. If you look down the boat from the stroke seat, who is at the very front leading the boat in stern, down to bow seat, you'll see their hands are all pretty even. Their blades are the same height off the water. It's setting their boat pretty nicely. It's got a little bit of rock, but not too much. They're all really catching and prying together. That is a great looking boat right there.
Awesome looking job. The timing is excellent. They're very level. Their strokes, as the coach says, are wide open. They are getting the reach and the catch and some layback. At the same time, the timing is unique in terms of leveling the boat. Starting to pull water. They've got about 5 shell lengths now to second place, and then they're in the third place. There are about four shell lengths distance between second and third.
Not much of a chance that a really strong sprint would help second place here. So they have really outdone themselves in Endicott A boat here. Rowing hard, and even though they had a nice lead, they never let up on their power all the way through the race. Great job.
It looks evident that this stroke rate's around 32, 33. They haven't really waned in terms of reducing the level or the need to bring it up in terms of any additional power.
Stroke rate, to clarify, that is the speed in which the rowers come up the slide. Their seats move up and down on small rails within the boat. and they can take X amount of strokes per minute. So right now it looks like they're taking about 32 strokes per minute and have held that strongly throughout the entire race. What we may find is some crews may start out strong with the faster stroke rate. It may sink in the middle and they may try to bring it back for the end of the race, but they have been nice and steady throughout. And we have the Brandeis girls coming by in second place, really hitting their sprint. They've taken it up faster on the stroke rate, and they are pulling through nice and clean. You can see the water they move in front of their oars. Those are their puddles. They're getting great spacing, really sending it hard every stroke as they come into the last 100 meters here. It's about 10 strokes left. And they will take second here today in the women's varsity 4. And there's the horn. That's second for Brandeis A. Here's Brandeis, not Endicott. Brandeis B boat coming across the lane. They'll finish third today in this women's varsity 4 race. Nice strong finish from Brandeis B.
The horn that you see to your right is basically the finish line. And we're careful not to cross the line because basically they time the results, and they also try to get all the crews to come across before anybody else crosses.
Here we have the second race of the day. We have Roger Williams taking first place. We have Wentworth Institute in second, the black boat. And we have Roger Williams again with their second entry for this race in third. So, in the third place boat right here, you can see bow seat of that boat reaching forward a little lower than the 2 seat. The hands are in slightly different places. They looked a little rushed. All right, coming across the 1,000-meter mark, we have Roger Williams University, nice and clean. Watch that roll up with their oars as they come nice and straight before the catch. Great timing. Nice power application. We have Wentworth Institute coming across second, holding steady. Looks like they're executing a nice race plan right here. We have Roger Williams again in the far lane. There are 2 Roger Williams University entries in this race, and they are really pressing up on Wentworth Institute, giving them a run for their money. We have Roger Williams in first. That coxswain has a great straight line. They're going. We have second and third. They're a little smushed together on the far end, but holding a pretty great line. You can hear the coxswain in Wentworth Institute's boat calling what they call a power 10. They're trying to make a move to get back up closer to the first place boat, Roger Williams University A. They did pick up a few meters there, but there is a 1 boat length of open water. That means 1 boat length of space between each of the boats. Am I good to go?
Yep.
All right, coming into the last 500 meters of the race. This is the 1,500-meter mark, the buoys. These women are going to start preparing themselves to take a sprint to the end. And that is really, they're going to leave all of their energy behind. This first place boat, Roger Williams University A, doing a great job of getting the blades in the water and suspending. You can really see their boat moving every stroke. They're not wasting any energy at all. Roger Williams University in lane 1 is staying nice and strong. They've opened up their lead even more to 2 boat lengths of open water over the middle boat, Wentworth Institute, who is currently in 2nd place as we come into the last 500 meters.
Okay, Gus.
After rowing 1,500 meters in the course, you can really see how the boats have spaced out. Roger Williams University A boat in 1st place, Wentworth Institute in 2nd place, and Roger Williams University B in 3rd place.
Get ready for the sprint.
You can hear the coxswain calling her team up for the sprint, and they are going to give it all they've got. She is motivating them, and they are responding very well. Their stroke rate has come up just a little bit. They're getting clean, long strokes and really powering through. About 3 boat lengths of open water now over Wentworth Institute. About 15 strokes left, and they are clean and fast through the finish. Wentworth coming up behind them with a little slower stroke rate. And that's Roger Williams University A, Women's Varsity 4, with 1st. And we're here with Coach Katie Lane, head coach of Wentworth Rowing. Coach Lane, what are your expectations for the day?
I'm expecting that we're going to go out there and give it our best. We were here a couple weeks ago and we saw really successful results, and we also saw things that we could work on. So we've taken the past couple weeks to really fine-tune the nicks and tunes that we need to, and so hopefully we'll see our hard work pay off today.
And that's Wentworth Institute with 2nd place in the Women's Varsity 4. And coming across in 3rd is Roger Williams University B.
The spring is more of a sprint race. We compare it to a track race because the boats are lined up at the start with each other, and they're basically racing against the seat in the next boat as they come up the course. In the fall, it's a much different race. It resembles a cross-country long-distance endurance at a lower stroke rate. It's more of a snake race course where it can wind under bridges, and it's a very interesting long-distance race over 3 miles. And they don't line up against each other. They go one at a time, and they're racing against the clock. The difference also in the fall is that it is called a regatta, and a regatta is a long-distance race. In the spring, it's called a sprint race, which we all know is very quick, very fast. Name? Yeah. Alston. Great. You've been rowing along together?
A year and a half.
Oh, good.
Very nice.
Oh, you'll do well today. The conditions are perfect. Whenever you're ready, we'll get out of your way.
So we have the Endicott Varsity Men's 4 demonstrating a start just like they would do when they're all lined up together for us. They'll do the first 5 and another 5 strokes for us.
that's called let it run. When those oars are in the air, they're trying to get run out of it. And that was a nice start. Nice clean start. Good finish. They have plenty of layback. Their form is good. Their shoulders are high. They're sitting well on the boat. And they ran the boat. Nice job, guys.
Looks good. Here's the men's varsity 4 race starting, a 6-boat race. We have Roger Williams coming out of the starting block. Endicott in first in lane 5, going nice and strong. Great start from Endicott. Following up, we have Wentworth Institute. Then we have, it looks like Endicott again, and a Wentworth boat. Nice strong starts here from the gentlemen. It looks like our main contenders in this race have started out with Endicott in lane 5, Roger Williams University, and then we have 3 in the middle, 2 Wentworth boats, and a Brandeis boat bringing up the rear. Pretty tight. Endicott jumped out ahead pretty far at the lead. They had a great start, but they're settling into their race piece and coming up to the first 500-meter buoy, and everyone else is getting a little tighter around them. They're really going to have to watch out for this far Wentworth Institute boat at the very far side of the crew. They are sneaking up, and the boats are starting to get a little more even as we come into the 500-meter mark. This is going to be a strong race all the way to the finish.
This is a great race. We've got 4 lanes, approximately no more than a half a length apart. It's exciting, and the fact is that the other 2 boats are about 2 lanes down. So altogether, all 6 boats are running very close, head to head. Running about 32 strokes a minute on average. It looks like the slowest crew is this one right here to my right. It's running around 28 strokes a minute. Evenly pulling. They're not dispersed very far from each other, and it looks like there could be a real push at the halfway mark to start getting some powers before they sprint out the end of the course.
All right, we have at the far side of the course, the Wentworth crews have taken it up and are now in front of the Endicott crew that started out nice and strong. The far Wentworth Institute boat is now just a little ahead of bow ball. We're at an angle here. They are pulling up ahead. The middle boat, that is another Wentworth Institute boat, has also pulled ahead, and they are nice and strong into the body of the race right here at the meet. And now it is 2 Wentworth Institute boats challenging each other for first place. In the rear we have Brandeis and Roger Williams University. In middle we have in third place, we have Endicott in the blue and green. And in first and second, we have Wentworth Institute, who just continue to open up water over all the other crews as they come towards the 1,000-meter mark of the race.
Outside of Wentworth, we're starting to space out the rest of the boats. If you notice, when you look at the 2 Wentworth boats, they're hardly pulling a seat on each other. By pulling a seat, they're basically moving up and back in position. So there is no gain on either boat. They're holding pretty steady at about the same stroke rate. It's pretty exciting in terms of the fact that the form and their timing and their speed is approximately the same. So this will be a very close race between the Wentworths. We're down about 2 lengths between the next boat in 3rd place, and all the rest are evenly spaced, only about a shell or 2 apart.
Wentworth had one big off stroke there where they lost a seat, but it looks like they're determined to take that back. By that I mean the 2nd place Wentworth boat. We have Endicott in the middle at third place at the moment, holding steady. They are definitely rowing their own race. And then we have these two Wentworth boats in first and second up ahead, really racing at each other. Look at them pull that up. The second place boat has just taken a move, and they are bow ball to bow ball with the first place. So they are challenging each other stroke for stroke. That's it.
The Wentworth group, the Wentworth two crews have all picked up their speed. They've raised their stroke rate probably 2 or 3 strokes a minute. And the Endicott crew has also raised their stroke rate as well to catch them. They're starting to put a power push on to try to catch up to Wentworth at this point. The other crews remain in about the same position, two build lanes down.
And here we come. We have Wentworth 1, Wentworth 2 coming into the last 500 meters of the race. And they are really giving it their all right here. We have Endicott in third place coming across the 500-meter line. And fighting for fourth and fifth, we have Roger Williams University and Brandeis. With that open water spacing, we see in between Endicott before and after, it looks like they're holding steady to take third place. But up ahead, between the two Wentworth boats, the one closest to us in the middle and the far lane, it is up to anyone who can take it right now. They're getting ready to take their sprint, and they're going to battle it out, stroke for stroke, down the last 250 meters of this course. Watch how smooth they are. Even as they've taken up that stroke rate, they're going faster towards the stern. They're really squeezing it into bow, getting great strokes.
This is anybody's race, Endicott 1 or 2. It could go either way. It's very close, very exciting.
Wentworth 1 or 2. Last 50 meters here, and the middle Wentworth boat is just 2 seats up, 3 seats up. That's it. Watch them walk into the end of this race. Last 10 strokes, and we have the center Wentworth crew taking over that lead. That was an amazing sprint right up there, clearing the other boat. They're coming across first in the last 3 or 4 strokes right here. Great job. There we go. We have Wentworth 1, Wentworth 2 in first and second place. 3 shell lengths down comes in Endicott. All right, so the 4th and 5th positions right now, they're making a push. Roger Williams is sprinting it out to the finish. Brandeis is giving them a big challenge. Brandeis takes it in 4th place, and that's 5th place with Roger Williams. Here with Coach Ned Wright, and if you could give us some history on rowing, especially in the New England area. What are we seeing here?
Well, the history of rowing in New England dates back to early 1800s, and even prior to that, racing used to take place with area companies, mostly in the manufacturing segment. Companies used to race each other. When they get done work, they basically would go out as an outlet and start rowing as a community rowing program. And then they decided that may not have been enough. They need to try to coordinate more rowing programs, and as a result they started racing other companies. What's very interesting about it is it almost became a betting sport, similar to horse racing, that wagers were put on certain companies and rowers. And if you look back to the early 1800s, you'll look at most of the prevalency in terms of rowing took place with Ivy League universities and colleges. They tended to have a few more dollars in funding programs and sponsorship, and as a result they were able to put together rowing programs and build boathouses. And it's, as you know today, it's a very expensive sport to fund. It requires generally a big boathouse. They're very long shells, they're very delicate in nature, And the history of rowing has really changed over the years. You could equate it to car manufacturing in terms of what the production of the boat itself is. In the early years, boats were strictly made out of wood, and they were heavy wood. They had to be strong enough to accommodate 200-pound rowers, and yet they had to have some speed, and they had to be designed so that at least they could go fast across the water. And as a result, the oars were made strictly, again, out of wood, hardwoods mostly, and utilized mostly on lakes. It wasn't really much of an ocean sport because the wood would get damaged and so forth. As a result, within a 20-year, 30-year span, you saw wood change, and they started to, in the early 50s and 60s, they started to develop different types of composite materials. And as a result, by the time it was brought up to the 1970s, crew boats were made out of fiberglass, similar to the skiing industry, where you saw a whole different level of composites get lighter, faster, more efficient over the years. They then went from fiberglass to a Kevlar product, which was very strong and a little more lightweight than the fiberglass. And as a result, within another 10-year period, they went to a carbon fiber. And that's what we have today. Again, speed was the major requirement, as well as efficiency and stronger, lighter materials. Crew has really been an evolution in terms of the result of Title IX as well. The spectrum of the sport has broadened out with women's sports. It's also broadened out geographically across the United States. So the beginning really took place on the East Coast and the West Coast, mostly centered around Ivy League schools. Later on, as more and more programs demanded a need for crew programs, and Title IX entered the sport, youth programs and women's programs doubled and tripled in size. And today you'll find crew programs across the United States on almost every lake and pond. You can navigate and get crew boats on and fund a program. And it's really taken on a whole new format in terms of popularity. The popularity today is similar to what you've seen in the last 10, 15 years with kayaks and small sailboats, that crew shells are now one-man shell for classifications, two-man shells, doubles, pairs, four-man shells, eight-man shells, and a whole array of different types of shells that you'll see, as well as ocean-going shells that people are now navigating internationally with crew shells.
Lane 2, pull it up 1 foot. Pull it up 1 foot, lane 2. Now, thank you. Hold water, lane 2, good. Lane 3, pull it up 2 feet. Lane 3, 2 feet now. Ready, y'all? Go!
This is the start of the women's novice 4 race. Closest to us, we have the Roger Williams University B boat. Next lane over, we have Roger Williams University A. And we have a tangle between Endicott and Brandeis right here. They're going to get untangled and go for it. This will not restart the race. The only reason to restart a race right here in the first 100 meters is if there was breakage, which there was not. The leading boat, Roger Williams University A boat, was the boat that won this in the last series, or that led this for most of the race last series. And they caught a crab, which turned them sideways. Catching a crab means that they lose control of the oar, and it can turn the boat. So right now they're leading nice and strong. Endicott is recovering great from a little collision with Brandeis from the start, and Brandeis is coming back into it after that collision. We have Roger Williams B bringing up the rear here. Pretty much a level across with Brandeis. And Endicott up ahead is still doing a great job recovering from it and really starting to give Roger Williams A run for their money. However, they have drifted across the course a bit to the far lanes. They should have stuck right in the middle. There we go. This is passing Roger Williams B. Then you will see the far boat, that is Endicott B. And then coming up, we have the Roger Williams A and B boats. Roger Williams A in blue, followed by Endicott in green. Coming up to the first 500-meter mark right here. And they are just a few seats off each other, nice and close, nice rowing here. You can see that it's taking a little longer for Roger Williams A to get their oars through the water. That's part of strength right here and being able to take a big stroke, really load up, but having the power to get the blades through the water at the same time. Endicott is getting through the water just a little faster and smoother, and they are starting to come up and overtake Roger Williams right here at the 500-meter mark. We can hear the Endicott coxswain starting to call for her boat to move, and the Roger Williams coxswain just responded and told her crew to keep the other boat off, which they have done as they pass the buoys very well. It looks like Endicott just took one seat on that, and Roger Williams is really holding them off. Followed by Roger Williams B, and in the back of the pack here, we have Brandeis pushing it out. All right, up ahead, coming into the 1,000-meter mark, Endicott has overtaken Roger Williams A. They're doing a great job getting through the water quickly. You can see that Endicott, which started in the middle of the course, is all the way over to the far side. Roger Williams has really done a good job of staying straight on point. Got all of our crews headed down the home stretch now, really spaced far out ahead of the middle of the pack are Endicott A and Roger Williams A. We have Endicott B in the middle, followed by Roger Williams B in 4th and Brandeis in 5th. You can see 3-seat right there moving at a slightly different time with their arms and body. There we go, they're right back into sync, and that should help them right here in this last 1,000 meters. Up ahead, we have Endicott really taking off as they approach the 500-meter buoy. They're doing a great job. They're starting to really stand out in front of Roger Williams. Roger Williams will really have to pick it up past this 500 meters and really bring it on this sprint if they want to stay in the game here. It looks like Roger Williams has really slowed down towards the finish of their strokes too. You can see how it just takes a little longer to get out of there. Get out of the water, I should say. And we have open water between Endicott A and Roger Williams A as they come up to the last 500 meters of this race. They did a great job recovering from a crash at the beginning, pulling ahead and overtaking the original lead boat. Great job with those ladies today. We have our 2 lead boats crossing the last 500 meters of this race. Endicott A has open water over Roger Williams B. Many boat links back to the 3rd boat in this race, but let's get excited for a final sprint here because you know Roger Williams wants to reclaim that lead. See Roger Williams picking it up on their stroke rate, but they're having a little trouble keeping the control and set. That's it. They're starting their last bit of the race, giving it their all right here as they come down the finish. About 5 more strokes. They have had a really great row. We had Roger Williams University A boat in the women's novice 4 coming across second in this race. Really finishing hard. This is the men's novice 4.
Men's novice 4 has begun. Repeat, men's novice 4 has begun.
We have Wentworth A in lane 1, Wentworth B in 2, Brandeis in 3, and a crash right here.
Hold water. Lane 5, stay where you are, good. Lane 3, hit it 1 stroke. Hold water. Lane 2, touch it. Lane 4, take 1. Lane 4, take 1. Lane 5, take 1. Lane 5, take another one.
There we go.
All 6 crews sit ready.
This is a restart. The men's novice 4, last race of the
Ready,
day.
yo! Woo!
There you go, everyone getting off the start. They're starting with small, quick strokes.
Men's novice 4 is a repeat. We are rowing now. The start has begun. Repeat, the start has begun.
Roger Williams is slicing across the course. Roger Williams moved to starboard.
Guys, you got to keep your point here. You're all over the place. Get your point. Get on point.
Roger Williams hard on port. We're going to have a nice spread on this race. We have Wentworth A right here.
Get your point. Get it going straight.
There's a nice 3-boat challenge up here ahead. Endicott on the far side, Brandeis in the center, Wentworth on the near side here. The wind is affecting them a bit. They've got a strong headwind that wants to catch the oars.
Keep it over, Cox. Keep it over this side.
Wentworth in the lead here with just 1 seat back is Brandeis, and then challenging Brandeis seat for seat every stroke is Endicott on the far side. This is a nice strong men's race. Here comes Brandeis. They are moving up. They just took a little bit of water there. These teams are really fighting hard for each meter of water as they go down the course. There we go. Wentworth just pulled ahead of Endicott just a bit there. Just another seat. 750 meters left in the race at this point, and the field is opening up over Brandeis a little bit. Wentworth and Endicott racing for first place right here. Brandeis holding third. Stroke seat is leading with a great tempo. The rest of his crew is following up nicely, getting those catches in together. One mistake, and they've all recovered immediately. Great job. Here they come in the last 250 meters, really sending it along. And we have Endicott really starting their sprint a little early, it looks like. But ready to take them in and race them all the way into the finish. They are not letting up one bit. Great job, Endicott. And Brandeis is pulling through. They are closing the distance on Endicott. They're really loading up those oars at the catch, getting them in and pulling through. There we go. Now they're really moving, and it's anybody's game until you cross the finish line. All right, we have Wentworth Institute getting ready to cross the finish line in another 10 strokes or so here. That's first place, Wentworth Institute, men's novice 4. Well done, men. Coming across second, we have Endicott, men's novice 4. Coming across third, Brandeis. Great. This is the Wentworth men's A boat, actually. Coming across in fourth. And in fifth, coming down the line, we have the Wentworth women. They are rowing as they were not able, due to time constraints and getting on and off the dock with shared boats, to row in the women's novice 4, so they are racing right here. This is the women's novice 4 Wentworth boat racing with the men due to some issues getting on and off the dock with shared equipment. They are racing in this race. They did a great job coming across fifth. And last but not least, we have the Roger Williams men's novice 4 crossing the line in 6.
So this is nice.
Nice to work with you. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you for joining New Bedford Community Rowing and New Bedford Cable Network for the New England Collegiate Rowing League. I believe that is the full incorrect name. For a great day of sprints, we had 6 races, a few collisions, and some great finishes. It's been a wonderful day on the water. We couldn't have asked for better weather and some healthy competition on the New Bedford water. For more information, go to the website www.newbedfordcommunityrowing.org. Thanks, and join us next time.
Bye.